I will start with the first book I finished, which is The Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu, translated by Ken Liu. Cixin Liu is a computer engineer and science fiction writer from Beijing, China. He is a 9-time winner of China's Galaxy Award and has also received the 2015 Hugo Award for his novel The Three Body Problem, as well as the 2017 Locus Award for Death's End, which is the third and final book in the trilogy. The Chinese video platform Tencent Video released a series based on The Three Body Problem in January 2023, and an English language adaptation was released by Netflix in March of 2024. I finally finished it. I kind of powered through this book over the past few days because it was getting really juicy. So I kind of was in that point where you're like, I just can't stop. And it was so good. Ariel, like, it was so good. It's been a while since I've read a sci-fi book that really connected with me. Like, often I find sci-fi either like goes over my head or like I'm just not really that interested in it. It's not like a big enough idea. And this book is like the juiciest idea. It's so interesting and big, and I actually want to read the rest of the series, which most of the time, by the time I finish the first book in a trilogy, I'm like, snooze, who cares? Like, I don't need to know more. Because usually the first book is like the most interesting, this is all that's going to happen. But the way this book sets everything up, it's like, oh, there's so much happening. Like, it sets up basically like a few 100-year story, like that is in the making. And so I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it for people who don't know, but it's very like philosophical and very sciencey. Like, it is kind of similarly to like The Martian, where there's like a lot of science and a lot of math being thrown at you, and some of it did kind of go over my head, but I just let it wash over my head. It didn't need to be in there. Like, it's not important to the story to like understand all of the science, but it's very grand in scope. It takes you like outside of Earth and the universe, and it's all just very interesting. And comparing it to the show, which is something I wanted to talk about a little bit as well, because I did watch the show before reading this. The show is much more character focused, and there's a lot of characters that they made up for the show, or like they took one character from the book that they turned into like 2 or 3 different characters in the TV show, which is very interesting. It's just a different vibe. With the book, I personally didn't really care about the characters at all. It was mostly just about like what was happening. The whole scenario was what was really interesting. So that's one key difference that I think is like good, and I understand why they did it for a show, because obviously when you're watching a TV show you want to care about the characters. So I do like that they did that. They also introduced a whole like more international side of things. Like in the book, the whole thing is set in China, everything is focused in China, but in the show a lot of the characters are in the UK, and the whole thing is pretty much set in the UK, but there is still like the China element is still there, and that's where like the whole story starts and kind of comes from. So it is kind of different, but I really liked both as, you know, separate things for what they are. And yeah, like I said, so excited to read the next couple of books. So now I need to get my hands on those. So yes, I'm happy to have like a new favorite.
Success.
Yeah.